Taking off from what Tom was saying beforehand about the whole journey to get towards what user experience is all about, is our company, Proxim, has been working on a technology for a while called Near Field Communications, which we believe is going to be one of the next generation ways that people will interact with stuff around us. And simply put, it just means that mobile phones and things can do things just by touching them together or touching them to other things. Don't need to kind of press any buttons or work stuff to do. You just touch something like a little RFID tag on something or a card, and things will happen on your device that are personal to you. So before I go into the sort of the more interesting bits, is what NFC actually is. It's a boring acronym that you tend to get from technologies, but NFC means Near Field Communications, and all it means is that RFID technology or inductive coupling stuff can be embedded into devices. That's the technical stuff. But what it really means is you can have a contactless card like the Oyster card, or a little RFID tag that you put onto products that go beep when you go through security barriers, and that can interact with your mobile phone. So on one hand, your mobile phone can actually become a wallet of cards. On the other hand, your mobile phone can actually touch a thing that's got a tag in it, and it can recognise it and instantly do something. One of the more kind of interesting and useful things that you'll see shortly coming about is being able to buy Bluetooth headsets and MP3 sort of audio equipment that you can sync with your phone or your music player by touching them together. So if you currently do the Bluetooth thing with your car stereo or whatever, you probably go through this kind of very frustrating phase of going through the menus on both devices, having to kind of work out which device you put the PIN code into, and then eventually they'll sort of gradually work together. Whereas this technology will mean that you put the Bluetooth headset that's got it in and the mobile handset has got it in and go, and then something will happen and say, do you want to pair? Yes. And then you can put it in your ear and you can talk. So things like that is what's going to be possible by this technology. But in order to kind of make it a little bit more accessible, I'm just going to show you a little video that we put together to kind of give you a little bit of a understanding of what the journey can be for people using this stuff. So what we have is you can have posters and signage that you can kind of just go up to and touch your mobile phone onto to get information. You can meet up with your friends and exchange stuff, contacts, information, just by touching phones together. You can use the technology to go through the Oyster Underground or access to concerts, venues, etc. You can actually use your mobile phone to pay for things in anywhere that's got contactless technology enabled. And you know, once you've kind of done the experience, you can kind of get information again to encourage you to kind of come back and do it again. So everything is done by touching things. So things will become available that you can just touch your mobile phone to. So on the one hand, oops, just get back to the current slide. Is on that hand, what this means is your mobile phone can do even more than it does right now with kind of iPhone apps where you can do kind of voucher cloud things and you can do banking and so on. You'll actually be able to do clever payments, touching phones together, so you can pass money to each other by just touching phones together. You'll be able to do more than just collecting rewards and offers and special offers on your phone, because you'll potentially be able to take it to the till and tap it to the till, and your reward or your offer or your voucher can instantly be redeemed. You can also touch things in stores where you can literally get an offer straight onto your handset just by touching something. So you're going to Tesco's and you can instantly get a club card offer you're being advertised about just by touching a poster. You'll be able to get into venues, football stadiums, underground stations, airports and so on using the devices, and also be able to assist you with sort of travel, buses, car parking and so on. But ultimately, part of this is making your mobile phone become your wallet. One of the things that we've been working on, putting this into mobile devices. So this older looking mobile handset that I've got here has actually got a full MasterCard payment card. So I can actually take this phone and actually pay for stuff in Subway, Pret-a-Manger and a few places in Norwich already. And I can pay for any of the merchants that's got the contactless technology. I know you've seen the Barclaycards advert with the guy going down the water slide. There's about 10 million cards in circulation now that support this technology, and there's about 40,000 merchant locations that support it. So any of those places that supports it, this mobile phone can actually work it, and I can do payments today. So instead of actually taking a card out of my pocket or handing over cash, I just tap my phone onto the little contactless reader and I've paid for my service. And with this little technology, I can actually top my account up just using my phone, so I can put money onto it from an existing card. So, you know, just to summarise that again, there's around 43,000. I was quite shocked because Chantal actually updated these slides today. The last time I did these slides, there was about 27,000 merchant locations, and then that's gone up to 43,000. And going into next year, it's likely that Tesco's and Sainsbury's and Boots and the major retailers will actually roll this stuff out across their stores. So you'll start to see a lot of these chip and pin pads with a little reader on top of it that allows you to just touch your cards to do cash replacement payments. And I thought it was 10 million, but again, Chantal's statistics, it'll be about 12 million cards in circulation by the end of the year. And then going into next year, we'll be starting to see that actually embedded into network operator mobile handsets. So there's not actually many transactions going on right now, but we're seeing a large number, 200% increase in the actual transaction volumes. So, it's one of those chicken and egg things, is you need the terminals and you need the cards, and you get more transactions, and then going into next year, we'll start to see network operators providing these phones with the ability to actually make payments. So you'll be able to pay with your cards and your mobile. The other thing that we're working a lot on is what we're calling smart posters. So it's actually embedding a cheap little RFID tag in a piece of signage or a flyer or a piece of point of sale advertising material. So simple case is you have a poster with a tag in it, you tap your phone onto it, onto where the touchpoint logo is, something will instantly happen on your handset, and then you can then go and redeem an offer, or look at the advert, or link yourself to Facebook, or link yourself to a Twitter feed or something. So the whole thing is, for consumer advertising engagement, you don't really need to think about stuff. You don't need to turn on Bluetooth on your handset. You don't need to kind of text in a short code. You don't need to kind of like type in a URL on your phone to find out what the offer is. You just go up to the piece of signage, tap your phone, something happens on your phone, and it takes you to whatever it's telling you to do. So again, some of the things that you'll be able to do with this are, join a Facebook sort of site. Do you want to look at what Lady Gaga's doing on Facebook? Tap here and you're instantly part of the group. Do you want to go and see what Kellogg's are doing? Do you want to go and see what the Coca-Cola site is, or Walker's Crisps are doing? Tap here and then you're instantly linked into the Facebook or Twitter service. But the whole point about it is it's allowing consumers to choose what they want to do. So a lot of mobile services and location-based services that people are looking at the moment are potentially a little bit too Big Brother-ish. So, stuff happens and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I don't really want that on my phone, I'll turn it off because it's too invasive. Whereas this is all about opt-in. So you only get the stuff if you actually see the advert, you kind of like it, you touch it, and things then happen on your device. So it's very, very controlled. And the other thing that our service that we're putting together behind all of this allows you to do is to be able to do tracking and tracing. So from an advertiser's perspective, they can create a campaign and they can actually monitor and track exactly what happened with that campaign. So if you do an outdoor media advertising campaign, you can then measure who's eyeballed it, who's interacted with it, what time of day did they pass it on to their friends, and did they actually go and get the voucher? So again, you can start to turn outdoor traditional print media into things that you can measure in exactly the same way that you can do with kind of Google and Google Analytics and so on. So it's taking some of the principles of traditional, the online media world, and applying those to the offline, sort of declining media world in many ways. So, how fast is this going to take off? We've been working on this for a while, and every year it's like next year is going to be the big year that this stuff's going to take off. But there are multiple phones predicted next year. There's a lot of speculation around Apple for iPhone 5. There's lots of leaks and information about what Nokia strategy is all future smartphones are going to contain the technology. Google Android, the Google phones are going to contain the technology, and there's supposed to be around 50 million phones shipped worldwide next year. But if you don't believe us, this is something that's been quite useful for us. As what was talked about last week, is this guy, you may not recognise him, but this guy is the CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt.
Really is very hard to.
So it goes on a little bit longer, that's just a few snippets of it, but you know, we've been waiting a while for the technology to come to market, but you know, organisations like Google, Apple, Nokia, the card schemes and the network operators are now all sort of, starting to get to the point where there is actually going to be devices that support this kind of stuff. So again, we're now starting to see that this new way of doing consumer interaction is actually going to be viable and possible and on a mass market scale going into next year. So the last slide here is, you know, this is a creative digital audience here, is when this emerges and mobile phones can do this, as well as all the other things that mobile phone can do, what can you guys do to be creative and create new services for customers to take advantage of all of this? So that's it from me.